Miles and smiles. Hills pay the bills. I'm not sure there are enough miles in this city for us. Our insights and remarks you might hear if you lace up your sneakers and go on a run with me. For those of you who I've not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Mr. Segal. I'm the newest college counselor here at Brooks, and I also coach our cross-country team here on campus. I wanted to take this opportunity this morning to introduce myself and talk about one of my biggest passions, running. Next slide, please. Growing up, I was not a runner. Sure, I was sporty and tried my hand in almost everything in the books. From soccer to ice hockey to baseball, you name it, I tried it. My relationship to running at this point in my life was that it was simply a form of punishment. Why would anyone run? Even worse, why would anyone run for fun? A few years after college, I moved from upstate New York to my home city of Boston to work at BU. On one of my first days on the job, I decided to go on a walk during my lunch break, and that is when I discovered the Esplanade. Next slide, please. The Esplanade may be the most beautiful stretch of land I've ever laid eyes on. For those of you not familiar with it, the Esplanade is a runway that hooks around the city of Boston, making stops in Back Bay, downtown, Beacon Hill, and Cambridge. With no traffic, lots of friendly faces, and a constant view of the Charles River, the Esplanade is without question a runner's paradise. Here's a picture of my friend Abby and I running on it a couple years ago. Next slide, please. I got the run bug, and I got it quick. I went from huffing and puffing running 1 mile to confidently running 2 and 3 all at once. Running became a part of my daily routine. I joined a run club called the Midnight Runners. Next slide. Oh, that's it. Sorry. Go back, please. I joined a run club called the Midnight Runners. I became really invested in creating the perfect race playlist. I even, to the disappointment of my mother, grew and maintained a mustache. You want to go to the mustache picture? Next slide, please. I nervously signed up for my first half marathon, telling myself it would be my first and last one. And to my surprise, I actually had fun. So naturally, I signed up for another one. I then ran my first marathon, and another one, and another one. I fell in love with the experience of training for a big race and seeing my goal through from start to finish. In 3 years, I went from never running to completing 3 half marathons, 3 full marathons, and nearly eclipsing 2,000 miles ran in the year 2024 alone. Next slide, please. So what have I learned from running? You can teach an old dog new tricks. I had this storyline in my head that running was not for me, and that I could never run a marathon, let alone one in under 3 hours and 30 minutes. Do not let old stories about your past define your future. Real courage for me was found way before I crossed the finish line. It was found by having the courage to set a lofty goal and try, even when I knew failure was a realistic possibility. Next slide, please. The best time to start any goal is always now. Nobody all of a sudden wakes up in marathon shape. I sure did not. It was very easy for me to come up with excuse after excuse and to list every reason possible why I would fail and why this would be a waste of my time. If something is important and a priority, you will make time for it. I signed up for a marathon on a whim and broke my goal into small, digestible steps. Nobody runs a marathon by themselves. I found a great support team to train with who held me accountable, taught me their good habits, and believed in me when I thought I had nothing left in the tank. On the next picture, I'll keep going. You'll see a picture of one of my best friends, Edwin, giving me a much-needed energy gel towards the end of my most recent marathon. Embrace the storm. Next slide, please. Committing to any goal is challenging. There will be bumps along the way, setbacks. Try to look at things that are difficult from a different perspective. I started to realize that the feeling from running I originally used to despise, huffing and puffing, my legs aching, feeling nauseous, was not a punishment, but a feeling that I earned, a feeling I should be proud of. I want to end my talk with a picture of me on mile 25 of the Maine Coast Marathon. I could see the finish line in sight. Nothing could stop me. I was cruising. I turned a corner, saw my friends on the sideline, and got a little bit too pumped up. I jumped up for a high five and felt a jolt through my right hamstring. Ouch. Next slide, please. This was not how I envisioned my last mile going. I took a deep breath and acknowledged the new circumstances laid out in front of me. I was no longer going to sprint across that finish line like I had envisioned and dreamed the night before. I was going to be lucky just to limp across it. The last mile, as you can imagine, was extremely painful. But in the words of seven-time Super Bowl winning quarterback Tom Brady before the 2016 Super Bowl, I didn't come this far to only come this far. And so I finished that race. And I was much more proud of this mile, even though it was at a slow 20-minute pace, than any other speedy mile I had run that day. All is to say, find the beauty in your own race, whatever that might be, and try to experience moments in real time versus having a predetermined idea of how things should go. Allow yourself to try and allow yourself to be vulnerable. In the words of former US President Theodore Roosevelt from his famous Man in the Arena speech, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Next slide, please. Next slide. Here's a picture of me embodying President Roosevelt's message when I played adult league softball in upstate New York. People always ask me, Mr. Segal, what's your favorite marathon? My answer, the next one. Thank you so much.